dad, I want to be a dancer. Maybe she says dancer and not stripper, just to kind of clean it up. What is your response, Steve?
That's never happening.
It's never happened.
That's not. That's like water on fire. Those two things don't go together.
Why is it not happening?
It
though?
is never happening.
What if it happens? What if she says that to you? How do you deal with that as a dad? Right?
Well,
You've done everything that you can do.
Caveman status. Grab her by ankle. She going back to the cave. You feel me?
Okay.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Letters from the Principal podcast. It's your girl Mary here, but you knew that already.
Almonte.
We're not doing the last name debate.
Almonte.
And I'm coming to you today from the couch, right? It feels really weird because normally I sit over there.
Like, who
but
the heck
my
is
seat was
Steve
taken.
to
right.
be taking a whole seat?
Yes.
What's really good?
I must disclaim that we do not bow down to men because we got men
Well,
today.
apparently we
got
do.
men. But I
Apparently we
willingly
do.
offered my seat to him.
You
so
did. You're
yes.
so nice, Mary.
Sometimes.
Let me tell you how nice
Queen.
you
What
are.
a queen.
Yeah.
What a queen. Thank you.
Mary's like really nice.
It's
The
just
Kim
it's
said
Not
she
too
won't bow
nice,
down
right?
to
it's
no
just
man.
such warm
Yes, we
hospitality.
must-
Yeah, we gotta rough
Let
her
the
up.
people know.
Mary,
Kim's
thank
not
you so
nice.
much.
Oh, you're welcome. Anything for
Mary.
you.
I am nice, right?
Well, you didn't offer your seat, which
No.
is why you're
I
in your
didn't.
normal spot.
But I'm nice when you really get to know me.
I'll
Tell
agree
the
with
truth.
that. Yes.
I'm a little abrupt when you first meet me, and you're the opposite.
Really?
You
So I'm
are
mean when you know me?
Super. Never been mean to me,
Okay.
but I could see it. There's a mean inside of you. So you know, like how M&Ms have a
mean,
hard
it's, like,
shell
distant.
and then a soft on
Right.
the inside. That's me. I'm the M&M with the hard shell and the soft on the inside.
And
but
I'm
you're
a
like
what?
the M&M with peanut. Like,
Oh, and I hate those.
Hard and then soft and then hard again.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Well, this was a
Pause.
lot to
I
start
like that.
with.
Yes.
You hard to the
Yes,
like that.
you
I
like
like
that,
that.
right?
And
Now,
you would
don't-
agree with that? I've not
true,
been a
right?
peanut M&M to you.
This is a wordsmith at its greatest. I just love the description.
Listen, don't let me get to Des.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
There come Dez
figure
under the
out-
bus now.
We
gotta figure
gotta
out
still
what
be
piece of
friends
candy-
after this episode
That's
ends.
a Jolly
so
Rancher
let's
right
stop.
there. Let me tell you something.
Just hard.
That's a Jolly Rancher, okay?
hard.
A hard and breaking your teeth. There it is.
Wow. Breaking your teeth, though.
Sorry.
Bars.
Breaking
I'll sit
Teeth
back
hard.
down.
I
I'll go
like
back.
that.
Let me go back into the bush.
Yes. No, let you come out of the bush because,
It's the
Okay.
truth.
Kim, you can introduce our audience to our special guest today.
I didn't prep the intros.
Okay.
I didn't
Well,
prep
then
the intros.
you
That's
don't have
bad.
to do
If I
that.
don't do like a good job, then it's like, didn't anybody tell
Do
me
we
what I've
prep
done in this
anything?
game?
We just out here. So I
We
think
are.
But you could kick it to Des.
I don't even remember how I know Steve-O, if you were really being real.
Well, we had dinner that one time.
No, but I
we
know
go back.
Steve-O from like back in the day. But when you get a certain age, you just forget. Like,
Right.
On that note, I'm gonna kick it to Des to
you
remind
always-
us how I know Steve-O.
I don't know how you know Steve-O.
We'll let
but
him tell
hi,
it.
guys. Welcome to our episode on What is a Girl Dad. I'm Des, and today we have music pioneer connoisseur Steve-O.
Pew, pew, pew.
See, I would have never said that.
Do you like? Is that how you would introduce
I'd have
yourself?
been like, "There's Steve-O."
I love that.
And
Okay.
we have serial entrepreneur Mowbray. And we have two opposite men to come from two different sectors of the world, two totally different careers, to speak on something that is near and dear to our heart, and it's raising kids, but not just kids, raising a woman.
Raising a
Because as we talk about, men are needed to raise boys. Moms are toxic to daughters. They say your mom is your first enemy. The first person that's jealous of you is your mom. But they don't really sometimes
Really?
talk
They say
about
that?
this. They do.
They do.
They don't
Studies
talk about
show.
how significant it is for a girl to be loved by her dad. And it's like, I was reading something the other day because I am a daddy's girl. Like, to the point that TikTok where it's like, if you don't want to do it, I'll call my daddy. If you don't want to do it, my daddy will. Like, to the death. And I think that they say a dad's job is to keep their daughter off the pole.
Yeah, dude. I've heard that.
But it's like,
Wow.
is it the dad's fault if the daughter does go on
Yes.
the pole?
Yes.
Facts, it is.
Yes, it is.
It
Yes, it
is.
is. Yes, it is.
I agree.
I agree with that
Yes.
too.
And I do not, but I will kick it to Kim to start the conversation now, but I do not agree with that. Like, we could just kick it right here.
Well, let me just say that you did a great intro because I wouldn't have got all of that. And
I'm the intro. I do great intros. Though. That's why it's my job.
That whole
every
thing, because
season.
I would have just said we're doing a girl dad episode, y'all. But that was a great intro, and
You
especially
remember how I did Jermaine that one time?
Yes.
And you were like, Jermaine, what the hell?
yeah, because I was like, I don't know
You
him
been
like
giving
that.
me jobs?
Yeah, you be giving people jobs. But even with Steve O, when you started saying, I was like, oh, that's what Steve O do. I just, I just know him. You know, when you've been in the game for a long time, like you just know
like,
people.
When our talent producer sent me his link, I knew that I had talked to him before through one of my like dear friends,
You did your
Brian
homework.
P.
Yeah.
But then I also know that he knows a couple other people I know, and he did extreme things with Nipsey. You know, before Nipsey, he had already had music accolades, but I would say that the thing I love that you did with Nipsey the most was the song from the Fred is it Fred Ham? How do you say his name?
Fred Hampton, yeah.
Fred Hampton movie?
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Judas and the Black. That song, me and my kids listened to that song going to school for at least 2 months.
Yeah,
and it was just a good song. It was just a good inspiring song just for black men. You know, like there are songs where you bring two giants together. Bringing Jay-Z and Nipsey together in a song that wasn't about nothing.
Well, just keep going, Des. Just keep going and letting everybody know how unprepared I was.
You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
I'm just saying.
keep
I'm
going.
just saying that, you know, the man does what he does.
I
You know
love
what I'm saying?
it.
I
Thank
found
you,
out,
thank
and
you,
I was like,
thank you.
okay, cool.
Because I
He
was like,
cool
that's
man.
Sean friend.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then when our talent producer sent me the information on Mowbray, have me that. You don't give me that? I got it. Oh, you got a dress on.
I'm trying to.
I was impressed because a black man teaching people not only how to do their taxes, but how to be financially responsible, owns restaurants, and not just like small restaurants,
Right.
Big dog restaurants, you know?
That's
we
amazing.
got two really good men.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of questions for them, and just so you guys know, right? Like, yes, I did not do my homework for the episode, so shame
But that's
on me.
that's my job.
But this is, you know what? But this is a part of being in a great team, when you can lean on your sister to do the work for you.
I got you. I'm nosy.
And she got me, cause I ain't come prepared.
I want to know who's up here.
Yes, listen. I'm about to. I want to ask a lot of tax questions, but you know we're gonna stay away from that right now. Be like, Kim, what's really going on?
What's really going on?
What's really
We'll have
happening
to
with
block
you?
the IRS from this episode.
Right.
real.
A lot of people
Pay
getting
nothing, though.
Right.
a lot of people getting blocked from this episode. But to go back to your initial point where you were talking about, is that a dad's responsibility?
Yes.
And we all disagree with you.
Yes.
I would love to kick it over to Mo, to Steve, to give me their perspective, to just hear from them, because
Yes.
I do feel like that's the dad's responsibility, please. But I don't know. Like I'd like to hear from a man on
And give us
that.
some backgrounds on like the ages of your
daughters,
and this,
right.
Like,
Yeah, my daughter's 12 years old, just turned 12 years old. So she's in the beginning of pre-adolescence.
Yes.
And
We will pray for you.
Ooh, that puberty big
It
dog.
doesn't hit the men like it hits the mom. It's a different situation. I don't think so.
I don't know. It's my first endeavor. I'm really excited about it. But yeah, it's been amazing being the father of a daughter. This is my first baby. You know, I call her my glory. Yeah, I don't, I'm open. I'm trying to learn, for all of us who are parents, it's always your first time doing this with the new child, whatever child it is, how many you got. But for me, it's just, I love talking about it because I'm looking to learn from other people, from their experiences, what they dealt with in prior scenarios. So I know what to look out for.
Yeah. And so for me, my daughter is 9 years old.
Oh,
And
she's
so I'm just a little bit
behind.
a little bit behind Steve.
She
still loves you.
Yeah, so she still loves me. She still want, everything's about dad, and she want to go on her daddy-daughter dates and all of that. And so it's just a really cool time because my oldest is my 13-year-old son, and then I have a 7-year-old son.
We talked about that. Our Will Smiths.
And so my daughter is kind of like the glue.
Yeah.
Amongst, she has to kind of come down to kind of have a bond with the younger one, and she got to be a little bit older sometime to kind of have a little relationship with the oldest son as well too. So she's really the glue in the family, and so that's really, really dope. Just kind of watching her have to kind of play these multiple roles. But to the part about the daughter getting on the pole, right? Yes. I think just universally, all men from a male perspective, feel like if you got one job, keep your daughter off the pole. If she on the pole, your ass failed, period. I don't know what to tell you, but you failed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that is just
Right.
right or wrong, fair or not. That's just what you have to do as a father. And so you have to just show your daughter her worth. You have to go above and beyond what you can to show her all the different ways that she can make money, other ways, and just really just pour into her and be present as much as you possibly can. And then for me, I just felt like if you have that relationship, you can be able to kind of steer her in a direction that
in a different
you know,
direction.
a different
So let me put it like this, because I think, you know, the narrative that we seem to all follow is this narrative of when a woman decides to do that, right? She needs the money, or she's trying to put herself through college. However, to all of, you know, all the ladies out there that may be, you know, choosing that profession.
Shout out to y'all.
Shout out to y'all. No
Shout out to
disrespect,
y'all.
right? Let me give you a scenario. So your daughter's 18, and she comes to you, you know, after she graduates high school, and she says, Dad, I want to be a stripper. And she's financially set. She's financially set. You have provided everything that you need to provide to her, but the culture, let's just be honest, has glorified this lifestyle. And she says to you, Dad, I want to be a dancer. Maybe she says dancer and not stripper, just to kind of clean it up. What is your response, Steve?
That's never happening.
it's never happened.
That's not. That's like water on fire. Those two things don't go together.
Why is it not happening?
It
though?
is never
what
happening.
What if it happens? What if she says that to you? How do you deal with that as a dad, right?
Well,
You've done everything that you can do.
Caveman status. Grab her by ankle. She going back to the cave. You feel me?
Okay.
That's
Is
it.
that your perspective as well?
Yeah, no, like I talk to my daughter about going to Harvard every day. You know what I mean? So her dancing is just so far away from reality that just would never happen. You know what I mean? And so you can do the work, to Steve's point, like this should have never happened.
Right.
Because you can really program and do the work when they're young, to where it's never even a thought. Like,
So it
you know what I
starts
mean?
now.
Yeah, it has to start now. And so you got to do a better job than what the culture, because we know what the culture gonna tell
Yep.
them. They're gonna tell them they got to have middle part sew in, and they got to be, you know, they
Bust
got to
down.
work, you know, they got to be bust down, this, that, you know what I mean? And so they got to walk around with bond, all this type of shit. But no, you just have to, you have to frame the image of what you want for your house, and that's for your sons and your daughters, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, I think that comes from upbringing. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's
So
my thought.
regardless of what's happening on Instagram,
Yeah, you got to raise your own.
No, I
kids.
think it's
keep y'all
environment.
kids off social media.
It's
I
all
do have a
environment.
question. All environment. So, Kim K,
Okay.
right? We all know Kim K. We all know what she did.
The sex tape?
But we know where she is
Specific?
now, right?
Yeah.
So did Robert Kardashian fail her? Or is she a businesswoman?
Different.
Two things could be true.
Yeah.
I think it's environment though, and I think her father wasn't around in some of the most important years of her life, the most influential part of her life, right? And I don't have the facts, but wasn't, not to dig into it, but wasn't she a teenager when he passed away,
I believe so.
right? So leaving with her mom, who knows the dynamic in that household? Who knows if her mom was dating? Who knows what's going on? New family, like there's a lot of psychological things to unpack
Right.
to give you that.
That's true.
But why I say two things can be true, because that could be true, but then her mother probably, as we've seen, has gone above and beyond to make them all entrepreneurs.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's why you can have that end result in those two things to share the same space.
Yeah, I'm with you, Steve. And like for me, I've never looked at, it's a far cry, in my opinion, doing a sex tape with your boyfriend and going to strip. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Going to strip in Magic City. Right. Those are two different things. You have, you both of y'all successful, young, famous people dating, and then make a sex tape. It happens, right? You know what I mean? Maybe it was supposed to get leaked, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Who knows? We ain't digging into that, right? But ultimately, you go from that and you build this huge career. You become a billionaire. Her father or her mother did not fail the Kardashians. I think they have done better than most. You know what I mean? I mean, again, granted, you date a lot of football players, basketball players, whatever, but you live in L.A. Who else you gonna date?
Right.
You know what I mean? If O.J. Simpson is your uncle and Rob Kardashian and your pops, who else you gonna date? So of course you date Reggie Bush and Kanye West and and all these athletes or whatever, because that's kind of who you're around. And so I've never looked at that and been like, okay, well, ooh, look at her and da 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 da. You know what I mean? You ultimately became a female,
Entrepreneur. Right.
Multi-millionaire, billionaire, who knows, right? But I think ultimately, it ultimately worked out for her.
Well, I love how evolved your perspective is on that, because I feel like, and one of the things we want to dive into is like the protective instincts, right? Like, are they different for sons versus daughters as a dad? And I think when it comes to sex, I mean, I can even say as a mom, even though it ain't about us right now, and I'm not going to talk mom stuff beyond this, but I do feel like I view dating and sexual activity differently for my son versus my daughter.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's right. I actually hate that I'm instinctually like this,
Right. Yeah.
but so I'm wondering, is it that way for dads? Like, do you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
All things are not created equal.
Yeah.
Let's just deal with reality, right?
Such an Aquarius, by the way. Remember
Yeah.
earlier, I'm like, life ain't fair.
Yeah,
See,
it
we're
is,
very.
it is what it is.
All things are not
guys.
created equal. So for me, I have not endeavored that journey yet to talk about those things with my daughter. But I do believe the opportunity of having an open relationship and teaching them things that, even how we grew up is way different than the era they're growing up in. So I know there's a lot of fluid information moving around, especially with the rise of social media and the kids and what they're getting. And really what's the challenge for me is really getting in the house and debunking things that are not true, and really putting fine points of things that are true and factual and meaningful. You get what I'm saying? Because for us, it's outside of our family values, is really about what information us as dads can give them for insight so that they can kind of foresee mistakes that they should not make, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to these kinds of like depth of sensitive conversations, I'm just hopeful that information sharing about the world and protecting yourself and having, confidence and valuing yourself in an esteemed way, and also, knowing who you should be around can kind of shape the thoughts and the behaviors when they start going into relationships.
So when you guys had daughters, everyone has like who they look up to, who they get advice from. Was there someone that you guys kind of earmarked as, this is the person I'm going to be speaking to because I have a daughter now? And also outside of that person, like, who is your, like, this is like what a girl dad is?
Yeah. I think for me it was my father. Just watching my dad. Again, he was just like, he had two sons, he had one daughter, and like to Steve's point, it was certain things that my sister could do that we couldn't do. It's certain things that we could do that my sister couldn't do. And so just kind of understanding that dynamic, like my dad had to talk with me at 13 years old, right? Son, you 6'1", you know what I mean? You looking at girls, here go pick a pack of condoms, you know what I mean? And so that was 12, 13, like literally. But I know with my sister, he wasn't going to have that conversation at that young age, right? Because again, there's a certain protection of her.
Right.
And I'm going to make sure that my daughter is good, and you know what I mean?
So you think I should give my son some condoms right now?
No.
Because he's 15.
I don't know. You might need to talk to him.
I definitely have tried to have the conversation, but like from
how did that go? I want to hear.
How did dads? My son will not talk to
you.
me
Were like,
about
are you having sex?
He won't even. He will not talk. He will be like, Mom, stop talking to me. Like it's such a weird conversation to have. But like, should I be sneaking condoms in his room? Like,
no, that's weird.
Sure.
Right. I was gonna say, I think there needs to be a conversation with that.
I tried. I don't know what to tell that boy.
Boundaries. I mean, for you, there should be boundaries on that.
He's 15. He'll be 16 next month.
Boys don't want to talk to their mom about that.
Right. No, they don't. So I never had talk with my mom about this stuff at all, ever.
Still to this day.
To this day.
No. That was all my father's conversation.
Nice. Oh my God.
I mean?
Your son talks to you about sex?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He's an Aquarius. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I'm surprised he's talking at all.
Well, Xavier doesn't talk, but when he talks, it's like he just says
about sex though, like about sex.
Yeah. So like they had like a weird incident at school where the boys were doing like some weird. He told me when there was a girl who was like letting people finger bang her at lunch. He told me like he tells me things,
right?
And maybe it's because of like the rapport that we have.
Yeah.
And then like when he had his like first little girlfriend. He'll like tell me like, yeah, we were gonna do this, but it never got to this.
Corey won't get that deep into it. Listen, my son, you gotta understand, went into his room one day as a child and came out a man. I was like, wow.
Yeah. But I say this because me and Xavier are different.
Right.
We've been through a lot, so our rapport is kind of like not brother and sister, but we've been through a lot together. So when he does talk, we talk.
Okay.
When he don't talk, we don't talk. So, but I know people who have kids that age kind of say their sons don't talk to them about it. But I don't come at him. Huh?
How's your son?
He's 14. He's going to be 15 February 11th. And me and him don't, like, I don't come at him like, is you fucking? You know what I'm saying? I come at him like, so did you kiss her? Like, how far did y'all go? So if she asks you for nudes, you know, you don't ask her for nudes, right? Like, you know, like, I just, like.
Well, since we're sharing, pop culture is what prompted me to have conversations with both of my kids about sex. So with Bree, my daughter, it was her 12th birthday, I want to say. And I told you this story, I'm sure, right? Well, first of all, thanks a lot, like Lil Wayne and Nicki Minaj, for your song Truffle Butter.
Oh, gosh.
Jesus.
Because there was a bunch of kids came to my house to celebrate my daughter's 12th birthday. I'll try to make this quick. And I guess a piece of cake got somewhere. And one of the boys said, hey, look, truffle butter. And everybody just burst out laughing. So in my mind, I'm like, they can't be talking about the cooking ingredients because this wouldn't be that funny.
Right.
So I'm like, note to self, figure out what truffle butter is later. So anyway.
You didn't know what truffle butter was?
No, I didn't.
Me neither.
First of all, nobody's
didn't know
ever
what
truffle buttered
truffle
me.
butter
I had to
Still.
go to, what's the dictionary on Google?
Yeah, the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah.
So wait, okay. See, now you always be making me fast forward my story.
Good old Jason.
Anyway, my daughter's birthday is Valentine's Day, and it spans like a weekend always.
Right.
You know, like everyone sleeps over. So it was days that passed, like 2. And when I finally like had a moment to myself, I'm like asking my friends, you know what truffle butter is, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I look it up on Urban Dictionary and got sick to my stomach. Literally, it was like, ugh. Like you guys have to look it up out there if you don't already know. I'm not gonna like explain it. Not our PA looking it up right now and getting sick.
I'm mad I knew what it was. Why did I know?
It's terrible.
Horrible.
You know a lot of rap songs.
I do. I know a lot of rap songs.
Right. So anyway, long story short, that in that moment, I was like, the jig is up. I'm gonna have to like talk to her.
Right.
And actually, some of the friends were over still, and I talked to all of them and was like, this is like a yeast infection waiting to happen. Anyway.
Oh my
But that
gosh.
prompted the whole thing. There was a
Right.
book called It's Perfectly Normal that I, you know, if we can find the link, we'll post it, that I had her read and was like, you can talk to me about this later, and explained everything, like every,
Right.
you know. Anyway, with my son, he stumbled across a film called Sausage Party.
Sausage Party.
And that, that prompted a lot of questions. And that was what made me have to
Have that
kind of have the birds and the
conversation.
bees
Sausage
conversation.
Party, crazy.
Yeah, never
the
let your
worst.
kids watch that. It looks innocent because it's like animated and cartoons.
Right.
Oh, but it's the worst.
And it's highly sexual. So,
OMG.
yes.
What is it about?
I've seen none of these things.
What is
It's-
Sausage Party about?
It's
Oh,
A
so it's
sausage.
about
Sausage.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you think a sausage party's about.
So
Yeah.
ultimately, the premise is like, what if food could talk, right?
Yeah.
And so the food is in the grocery store, and it's like, you know what I mean. So it's all the sausage and the food and all this stuff. And so how does food reproduce? And is the hot dog having sex with the bun and all? And so it's all these different sexual
Yes.
things.
Yes.
And yeah, and it gets pretty graphic towards the end, and there's food orgies, and it's a whole it's
Food orgies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Terrible, girl.
Yes.
Yeah. Food
Wow.
Yeah.
Food orgies.
Sausage
Who
party.
had time to do all this
Jonah
animation?
Hill? Jonah Hill?
Right. And
Yeah.
Jonah
wasn't
Hill?
Seth,
Oh,
Seth
that makes
Rogen a
sense.
part of it too?
Yeah, Seth and Jonah.
Yeah.
You gonna
Oh, that
thank
makes
them?
sense.
So
damn
you
fools.
guys are responsible for me having to have uncomfortable talks with my son at an
Yeah.
early age because
Yeah. Because they knew about this stuff.
Yes.
And oh, wow.
so
Intense.
yeah.
I'm
So I
still
did not
mortified
see it.
off the situation
butter?
at school. No.
Oh yeah, the school one. Yeah.
Oh, her private LA school, Bel Air. You're welcome.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be the private schools though.
It'd be the
It do
private,
Private
school.
schools are the worst.
Well, I had I think okay. So let me now that I remember he said that my son had a situation at school and it changed our conversations sexually. There's a girl. Her dad was a very prominent lawyer. She said that he had sexually harassed her while they were on the video game. But my son, Aquarius male, after he got called into office, he said nothing. He got home. They called us back. We get in there. He's like, Mom, it's okay. When we get in there, it's okay. And I'm like, what do you mean it's okay? You're going to get in trouble. And he's like, no, it's okay. When we get in there, it's okay. And so we get in there, Caucasian family. They're like, he said this and this to her. And he's like, can I send an email to you, to the principal? And she's like, yes. And he never talks. Like, he never talks. So when Mary says it, so when he said it to the principal, she's like, yes, Xavier, send it. So he sends it to her, and he's like, all you got to do is press play. And she's like, okay, well, I'll put it on the monitor. It showed the girl simulating giving him a blowjob and backing it up on him on Fortnite.
Wow.
And he was like, Gemma, I didn't sexually harass you. You did something to me. I didn't respond. And you said you were going to get me in trouble at school. And he even had the chat on Fortnite.
Talk to me.
And then when we walk out, he said, I told you we'd be okay.
He said checkmate. He said checkmate.
But he saves everything.
The
My
receipt.
son saves everything. And he taught my other son how to save everything. Remember this with Jay? Where the girl was like, I miss BJ. And my other son was going to delete it. And my son was like, nah, screen share that. And then it went to the office. And so it's sad that I have to teach my black sons how to, like, everything they do at that school, you got to save it. But
Wow.
Me on tape.
Them LA schools is different.
different. LA schools is different because
They're
LA
different.
is not, I tell people all the time, it's not black or white. It's not racist. It's rich or poor. That's scary.
Yeah. Well, it's time for us to take a quick break, so stick around to hear more about being a girl dad and also scary, traumatizing stories about talking about sex with your kids.
Sausage
Bye now.
party.